Hey guys, welcome back to Racing Insider Bets. It is Josh here. It has been a very long time since we last posted. I think it's been about 4 weeks now, but we are back. We're posting more regularly now, so I do apologise for the break. Had a week off and then basically just got extremely busy over the last sort of 3 weeks. So I haven't been able to have time really to post a video, but I have been posting on the Racing Insider Bets YouTube Instagram account. Where we've been having a great run of form over the last 3 weeks. Hit multiple winners pretty much every weekend. Last weekend we had a 5-1. I think before that we had 9-1, and I think another sort of 5-1 as well. And so we've been doing really well there, having good little strike rate. So we're in good nick. Hopefully we can kind of continue that good reign of form. Now we're back on the YouTube. So yes, I will have soon. I will be having a anti-post review, as the Cheltenham Festival is only about a month away now, so we're seeing how the sort of selections are fair for that. But in this video we're going to be focusing on Fridays and Saturdays racing, the 11th and the 12th of February. It's kind of all over the country, and on Friday obviously it's a bit more low-key, not a massive amount of meetings, but we're going to be looking at Bangor and Kempton. So to kick it off, back on the channel, first tip since the break, and it's in the first race at Kempton, the 110, the Join Racing TV now. Do it now. Conditional Jockeys Mares Handicap. It's a Class 4 event over 2 miles, and the ground at the moment is forecast to be good soft. It's a pretty small field on this one. I think it's only 5 runners, so obviously maybe not necessarily in each way back. I might be tempted to though, as we have picked out one with a little bit of a bigger price. At the top of the market, there's Global Fame and Glory, who's a Dan Skelton trained mare, and then we've got Yatham, second favourite 5-2, and Lime Drop at 5-2. They're sort of vying for second favouritism, but Global Fame and Glory is market leader at 13-8. But I like Somewhat Cloudy, 8-1, trained by Donald McCain Jr. and ridden by Peter Kavanagh, who'll be claiming 6. I think that's a very good. I think he is one of the best conditional jockeys in the UK at the moment. I would go out and stick my neck on the line and say that I do think he's very, very good value for his claim. And Somewhat Cloudy is obviously a very unexposed type. She's only been around a rules race 5 times, and ran one national flat over in Ireland. Ran a decent second on soft ground to Derry Linda. So she obviously has a considerable amount of speed, being able to sort of be competitive in that sort of. It was a 2 mile 2 furlong on soft, and it was giving Derry Linda almost over a stone and a half. So I think she has definitely bag of speed. I think she will cope with the 2 miles. She'll have plenty of speed for the 2 miles, and she'll definitely look to be able to stay. As since she's moved over to the Donald McCain yard, she's ran 4 times. One once a Huntington on good ground over 2.5 miles. Won a close race, beating I Spy a Diva, but got the job done there and looked pretty impressive. And then subsequently has come 3rd at Hexham, and then recently, and I think it was the 20th of December, was 4th at Musselburgh over a much longer trip, over 2.5 miles. And so she'll be stepping down again today in trip. I think that's actually where she's kind of suited. I think she wants good ground on the softer side, and I just think she can have enough speed, and in a small field event, she is a very good value for a stable that's in unbelievable form. Obviously, Donald McCain over the last 2 weeks has a strike rate of 29%, has won 12 of 41 runners. He's in top form, and I think hopefully Somewhat Cloudy can further that tomorrow. Would be a fairly good price. I think at 8-1, there is a bit of value there. I don't think there's much separation between her and the top 3 in the market, so I'd be willing to take them on with Somewhat Cloudy in the first at Kempton, the 110. Now we're going to move over to Bangor in Wales, and this is the thing. So I've been looking at it, and I had in the first, it was a John Hewitt Memorial Open Handicap Chase, Class 6. I had Paul Lockbay before the price came out, and then I kind of thought, well, John Hewitt's been massive, so he's going to be a very short price, and he is actually. I have written down here 11-10. Since I've checked, I'm just looking now. He's 8-11. So Paul Lockbay isn't one we won't be anywhere near that race. I do think Paul Lockbay will win. He's a very classy horse. Obviously, had a win at the China Festival as well, and has been a 10 point to points, kind of random career, but fair enough for him. So and he's going to be ridden. I like the fact that he's actually going to be ridden by his trainer, Will Biddick. So that's quite a cool little bit of sort of like a player manager role with Will Biddick. So fair enough to him. But I'd overly written up for him, but he's a bit too short, I think, now to be looking to put up. But the one I do like in the 2:30, the next race on the card, and that is to download the Races app handicap chase. It's a class 3 over 3 miles and 6 furlongs, so pushing 4 miles there. And has come in, unfortunately, since I've written the script, is Byzantium Lad. He was 16 to 1. He's now into 10s. I still think there's a value there in a double-digit price. Yeah, I think he showed a lot of promise recently. He had quite an illustrious career as a point-to-pointer before making the step up towards rules racing. Illustrious as in the fact he won one race, but he ran in a fair few in the UK and also in Ireland. But yeah, he did that for about 2 years before stepping up into rules racing, went over hurdles, and has always been at this kind of long trip. He's always been over 3 miles. Has never really, since rules racing, has not gone underneath that. Started off at hurdles and won his first ever hurdle at Ludlow on heavy ground. So showed a lot of promise, but then kind of came back down to earth after coming fourth to Dragon Bones actually at Worcester, and his only other hurdles appearance. And obviously we know what Dragon Bones has done. She's a very classy mare this season. And then on the 4th of December 2021, he took his first roll of the dice at rules racing over the chases and ran a decent race to be fourth behind Pat's Fancies. Obviously another Rebecca Curtis trained horse who's been doing really well. Was actually entered in a race on Saturday, potentially against Braveman's game if he's declared. I think he could be interesting in that. But yeah, he showed a little promise and then was pulled up on his next run at Southall. Now we're obviously rolling the dice, but I think with this point-to-point form and the ability to cope with heavier ground, I think if the ground softens up, which it has at Bangor at the moment, is projected to be soft. I think you'll have the ground conditions soon. None of these horses have gone over 3 miles, so stamina obviously is up in the air for all of them. But I think with the ability to cope with softer ground conditions and the fact that he's pretty much only ever been competed over 3 miles, which suggests that he's a stayer and will be able to stay the extra almost mile. And I think at 16 to 1 was definitely a good price. 10 to 1 is still there. I think he's definitely worth an each way play for Charlie Longson and Sean Queen, and I think he could have a little chance there. Byzantium Lad. So hopefully, obviously, got to roll the dice with big prices, and hopefully Byzantium Lad pays off quite nicely for us, and he's able to stay and obviously he will deal with the ground. So I'm not really worried about that. I think he'll have a good chance tomorrow. And we're going to move on again to the 340, which is the off the fence on YouTube.com at the races handicap hurdle. It's a class 4 over 2 miles and a furlong, again on soft ground. And I like here one of the market principles, and that is Kayfast Warrior at 5 to 2. I know it's a little bit short. It is a little bit short, but I do think he is still value there. I think 5 to 2 is just about what I'd be willing to tip up. But yes, he's a very classy flat horse actually. Ran in total has ran in 16 flat races and he won 5. But actually he ran in 9 all-weathers and he won 1. But then ran 7 times on the turf and won 4. So he's 4 of 7 on turf, which is really a decent strike rate for a flat horse. And again, it's Donald McCain trained with Brian Hughes on the ride. These two obviously in unbelievable form. As I said, Donald McCain is a 29% strike rate over the last 2 weeks, and obviously Brian Hughes is miles ahead in the Jockey Championship. I just surpassing 150 winners for the season, so we've definitely got the hot hand picking a few Donald McCain horses. I can tell you that. But yes, so as I said, he's been a very successful on the turf flat horse. And so clearly has a speed. He was going to be campaigned over a mile, and was being set up in trip before he ended up moving to the Donald McCain yard from Tom Damskins. And since he's made that move up to hurdles, he's been pretty impressive. He's run 3 times and has won once, but has placed in the other 2 races. So in his first race in December, he came 3rd to Inca Prince, which is a decent run at Catterick on his first time out. And then won his next one at Wetherby, beating lifetime legend and Monsieur Pom Pom. And then next time out at January, it was third again at Wetherby, behind Bonavista and Tommaso. So I think he's got really solid form. I think he's a very progressive, unexposed over hurdles and progressive type. They'll have enough speed to deal with 2 miles for sure. I think, judging on his flat form, he was really successful on softer grounds. I think the soft ground will be no problem whatsoever. He obviously won at Wetherby again, rules on soft. So I think he's definitely going to have a real chance. He's first time out in a handicap. He's obviously going to be. I think his mark of 109 is pretty low. I think there's a lot of work there. I think he could definitely progress through, and I'd be very sure if he was a good run for the money. I think 5-2 is still a good chance. I think he should have snuck past handicap hopefully for his first time out. And I don't think only going off 10 stone 13 is he won't be putting a lot of salt. Let's put it that way. So I think Kayfast Warrior in 3:40 at Bangor will wrap up our Friday selections. So yes, now we're going to move on to the Saturday, and I've been struggling to find tips. I mean, I've really kind of been digging quite deep. I've managed to find these 3 for Saturday as well. So first we're going to bring you is from Warwick in the first race of the Saturday card, and that is the 1 o'clock, the Virgin Ben Laws's Hurdle. That's a Class 4 event over 2 miles 5 furlongs, and the ground at the moment is projected to be good soft. Now, prizes have not come out for this, but I fancy. It depends how short he is. I don't know if he'll come up particularly short. In the ratings, he might be. I think he's going to be probably second or third favourite. I think maybe Fair Frontiers will be girl favourite, and maybe Camadonia. It's going to be interesting actually to see how the market unfolds, but it's only a 4-runner race. But I like Earthlord, and I think he's anything bigger than 2-1. I think he's definitely worth a go for Phillips Hobbs and Tom O'Brien. He had a pretty slow start to his career as a racehorse. First 2 runs over were at Wincanton, and he came 5th of 13 and then 9th of 14. But since then has been going at it. He's had a really really good run of form since then. Been a rich vein of form, shall I say. Next time out at Wincanton again was 3rd of 15 in his in a hurdle race, only going down to Grandad's Cottage. And then next time out at Taunton, he was 2nd of 12, again going down to Grandad's Cottage, before winning at Wincanton to break his duck. Won a decent race there, and then went to Ascot and won a Class 3 hurdle over 2 miles 2 miles 6 furlongs, and did it well. So and he ran in the Lanzarote and wasn't disgraced. 7th of 19. They're all kind of punched up at the finish as well. So I mean, I think he showed a lot of progression, and he's still unexposed and still has a chance to progress. I think that Lanzarote run he can come on from, and if he replicates anything near that kind of form in this, I think he can be well in there. Ran a really good race. And Lanzarote, that's a listed race. So he stepped up pretty massively in class and definitely held his own. So he's back down in class, headed to Class 4. I think he'd have a real chance. As I said, he's still unexposed, and I think he could progress. And you can rule that Lanzarote race out. I think that's actually a really solid piece of form. And it's hard to say that when the course comes 7th, but I do actually think that was a very deep race, and I think in this field today, if he's anything over 2-1, he's definitely worth a crack. So Earthlord in the first at Warwick for me. And yes, we're going to keep moving on to our second selection for the Saturday. Is a 1:58 at Uttoxeter. It's a Virgin Bed handicap hurdle. It's a Class 3 over 2.5 miles, and at the moment the ground is projected to be soft again. And again, the prices aren't up, so I'm not 100% sure. But as I said, if anything over 2 or 3-1, I think Ulverston for Jenny Candlish and Brian Hughes, who has them out, is going to have a real chance. He does like it with a bit of cutting the ground, and at the moment it's supposed to be soft. So anything soft or heavy, he'll be absolutely loving. I think he's definitely a mud bath kind of horse. So he would looking to have conditions to suit. He's also won over course and distance. He's only ever run at Uttoxeter. He won off a break as well. So he's coming off a 338 day break at the moment. his last big break was from March to October, and on his comeback was at Uttoxeter over course and distance on soft ground. He won that pretty much a very similar race to this. Now I think he might be overlooked because of that in the market. I think he might be a bit of a bigger prize because he's coming off such a long break. But I think with the form line sort of tying into the fact that he might seem to enjoy it, I think he could have a real chance. And since winning that one at Uttoxeter, he's placed in every single race he's run. He came third at Carlisle, third at Doncaster, second at Carlisle, and then third at Carlisle again. And that one at Carlisle and last season fell behind Funambula, who's actually won the December meeting at Cheltenham. So pretty decent form there. He's been dropped £4 for that. I think he's well in at the weights. He's getting back towards the mark that he won off last time at Uttoxeter. I just think with Brian Hughes on the board as well, he's in really, really scintillating form. I think we'll have another good chance there. And if he's able to be anywhere near fully fit, I think he'll go very close at a decent price as a market. Hopefully we'll overlook him as he's coming off almost coming off a year's break. So fingers crossed he'll run well for us, and Ulverston could potentially get the job done there at a quite juicy price. And then for the final tip of the day, I know this has been a bit of a tricky video, trying to get back into the flow of things with YouTube. It is the 3 o'clock at Newbury. It's a Betfair Exchange Game Spirit Chase. It's a grade 3 over 2 miles, and at the moment it's supposed to be good soft. And I think Funambula Sivola 7-2 for Venetia Williams and Charlie Deutsch is going to have a real chance in this. I think that 7-2 is a massive price. I think Ski Royale is obviously has won this before, but I don't think he's particularly consistent over the bigger stuff. He's definitely on the over hurdles. He's a well beater, but I don't think he really garners a rating of 163 over the fences. Obviously, Sky Pirate has been very consistent for John, Joe, and Neil, so there is danger there. And Hitman, obviously, for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobham, we know he placed up at Sandown last time out, which over fences. There aren't many better, are there? So he's been unbelievable this season. Hopefully, this run can continue. So this Funambula Sivola was an ex-French hurdler who's progressed well since joining the yard at Venetia Williams. Has proved to be a bit of a revelation when coming over the bigger obstacles. It's 5 of 10, so there's a 50% strike rate over the fences, and has placed 3 other times apart from that. So he's always been sort of there or thereabouts, apart from a not amazing run on New Year's Day at Cheltenham. But apart from that, he's been pretty sensational. And then since that one at Cheltenham, he ran up at Doncaster at the end of January and won pretty nicely, beating Before Midnight, who's been a very, very decent horse for Sam Thomas this season. So that's some really tasty form there. First time out this season, he came second in the Peterborough Chase to First Flow. That was obviously a good race there in First Flow. Is very good. It's probably great. Yeah, it's a great horse. So maybe not grade 1, grade 2, but will be well in there with that kind of form. I also said beat Before Midnight, Doncaster last time out, and then the end of the run to finish up last season, came second, only going down by 3 1/4 lengths to Shishkin in the Mongol Novices Chase. So that's pretty decent form as well, as we know. And if we can replicate that run today, I think he's well good enough to beat Hitman, Sky Pirate, and Ski Royale at 7-2. So hopefully they get some job done there, and we get some good winners back on the YouTube. Sorry, it's been a bit broken. I mean, I've just been trying to get back into the flow of presenting and stuff. So hopefully next week's video will be a bit more smooth. And but I hope if you continue watching this all the way through, I hope you enjoyed the content, and hopefully we get some winners on board for you guys back on the YouTube. And please follow my Instagram. If I don't post a video, I'll be definitely posting tips there. So I'll see you guys soon next week, and hopefully get a few decent winners back on the YouTube. Come on, boys and girls.